Hi and welcome to the daily reading for July 15th. And as every day this year, we're reading from Jesus Calling by Sarah Young, and it's Enjoying Peace in His Presence. So this is my spiritual exploration for this year, and I'm just sharing with you. So for July the 15th, do not worry about tomorrow. This is not a suggestion, but a command. I divided time into days and nights so that you would have manageable portions of life to handle. My grace is sufficient for you, but its sufficiency is for only one day at a time. When you worry about the future, you heap day upon day of trouble onto your flimsy frame. You stagger under this heavy load, which I never intended you to carry. Throw off this oppressive burden with one quick thrust of trust. Anxious thoughts meander about and crisscross in your brain, but trusting me brings you directly into my presence. As you thus affirm your faith, shackles of worry fall off instantly. Shackles of worry fall off instantly. Enjoy my presence continually by trusting me at all times. And this reading ties in with Matthew chapter 6, verse 34, 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9, and Psalm 62, verse 8. Sorry about the stumbling in the middle there. My eyes are playing up a little bit. And if it's the first time you have joined me, I've given up my glasses and my eyes tried to take control. Sometimes it's excellent, other times it's terrible, and today was just a bit of a hiccupy day with my eyes. So anyway, do not worry about tomorrow. That's a difficult one. You know, it's easy for Jesus to say, do not worry about tomorrow, but it's less easy for us humans to do. But I love that he says that, you know, there's a reason that the days were split as they were, you know, one day, one night, one day, one night, because we as humans can really only cope with one day at a time. And we're not meant to have the worries of tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day heaped upon us all at once, you know. So Jesus is saying that, you know, his grace, the grace of God, is with us for each day. There's enough of it for each day. But if we project into the future and bring all of those worries into today, then that's a more difficult situation. We can buckle under the burden of that. So it's just an interesting concept to think about, you know, that if we can try and keep ourselves in this day without worrying about tomorrow. I'm not saying don't plan, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't think, you know, like completely forget about tomorrow. That would be great, but most of us can't do that. But if we can put it aside, and what I've found works for me is that when something comes into my mind that I don't like, I switch my thinking to something I do like. So it's a very helpful hint that I learned a long time ago, and it's being used more and more by me in my life. And that it goes for things like shouting at other drivers, you know, not face to face. You know, obviously I'm in my car and I'm shouting at their car. They can't hear me. So the only person that's being affected by it is me. So when I find myself in that anger, I am mostly able to say, okay, take it now to Jesus, and then switch my thinking to something that I like. You know, maybe there's a really cool car on the other side of me, or maybe the trees are rustling outside, or, you know, maybe the car is just nice and cool compared to the 37 degrees outside. You know, there's always something that you can switch your mind to that is nicer than those worries that you are bringing in from the future. So it's just a little piece of advice, a little piece of you know, experience that might be helpful for you. If you are thinking a troubling thought, stop and think about something nice. Think about something better. Think about something that makes you happy, that makes you smile. And I have a little picture in my head that is always my kind of go-to picture. If there's not something instantly comes in, I have a picture in my head that I bring my attention to, and it always makes me smile. Okay, so that's my 5 minutes. So I'm inviting you today to try to let go of worry and to just, give that thrust of trust to Jesus, God, to the God of your understanding, and let your day be more pleasant without that burden of tomorrow and the next day. Namaste, love to you all. Bye now. Bye.